So good to have you back. Remember that on Sunday, it was celebrated as Zero Tolerance to End Female Genital Mutilation. And on Monday, we had an interview with one of the development workers trying to bring this practice to an end. Now, as a result of that, we had a whole lot of footfalls coming out to say, look, we need that interview again. We need to talk about this particular menace. It's a cultural practice, fine, but we should bring a lot of institutions on board to see the end to female genital mutilation. And joining me on set this morning is Atom Eso. She is the executive director of ATK Initiative. Atom, good morning. So good to have you on set with us.
Morning. Thanks for having me again.
And yeah, that's the word. Thank you for accepting to come back the second time because of the importance we place on this particular health challenge. But let's start by asking again, what would we say is really this a female genital mutilation?
Okay, female genital mutilation is the removal of the female genital organs for non-medical reasons because there's no medical reason attached to that aspect we are doing. People practice. It's just like a cultural practice, like I said before. It's a cultural practice, not a medical. It's not for medical reason because if there was a medical reason that is attached to it, I don't think we will be coming here to advocate. We'll be coming here to speak against it. So that's it.
Let's get to that because you made a very statement there for no medical reason. Now, would we say it's biblical?
No.
Then how did it just come up?
Yeah, it came up because people is a cultural belief, like I said, is a cultural belief. People feel okay. That's in the olden days to end promiscuity and the issue of this rape because this rape didn't start now. It started far back, and just like awareness was not really rampant then, like as it is now. So parents for our children not to be raped and if you know that this person has been circumcised, you don't want to go try it's not as before again, and also to end them not running to men after the other. So they had this illusion, I call it illusion, assumption that any woman that is not circumcised will go in for prostitution, be promiscuous in everywhere, every man and woman, he will really enjoy sex. So for that woman not to enjoy sex, so they felt if we do this circumcision, definitely this woman is not going to be promiscuous.
Okay, even after do you still have people still being promiscuous after being circumcised?
That thing being promiscuous no be for circumcision on our mindset though. If you want to be promiscuous, you can be promiscuous. Even if they won't seal that hole, you will still be promiscuous.
So that means FGM in that regard doesn't hold ground.
Yeah, it doesn't hold. It's just like it's. I would say it was out of fear and out of I don't want to lose my child. I don't want people to give my family a wrong name or a wrong reputation. So I just want my family name to just be intact. I just want my family name to be this. I want people to say, okay, my daughter has been circumcised or my daughter is not promiscuous. That was their reason. So most people back then, all what they were after is just the legacy of the family names. But they didn't know the repercussion of what they were doing, the side effects. They intended to ignore the side effect but focus on the names of the family.
Excellent. Okay, we know that every year when we are looking at zero tolerance to end FGM, there's always a theme to sharpen our discourse. Let's look at the theme for this year: accelerating investments to end female genital mutilation. Accelerating investments to end. I would love you to open up this to our teaming viewers out there seeing this. What do we mean by this caption this year?
Okay, for the caption this year, accelerating investment to FGM is providing services response. So these services you can provide for these people through advocacy. So you can provide the service through advocacy for them, going to community town hall meetings, going to traditional rulers, making sure because the traditional rulers are the custodian of each community. So if anything should happen, I can't just bounce in. Okay, let me use here as a case study. I can't bounce in here to do anything without meeting the GM because I know he's in charge of this place. So the community leader and the chief clan head, he's in charge of that community. So if we meet them, advocate, tell them the repercussion. Okay, this was the perception you guys had before. So we are not against that because that was what you guys believe. But look at the effect of what people are doing. This is what is happening now, and this had been what has been occurring. So definitely, they will listen to us, and if you should have the think back of, okay, during this process, this has been done. How many people died? How many people were rushed to the hospital? So if they go back to sit down and evaluate the awareness they've gotten, definitely there will be a change in that community. So that's it.
Okay, now let's, because you made mention of the effect, let's look at the effect of this female genital mutilation on the victim itself.
Okay, it has a large effect on them, such as excessive bleeding, then pains during menstruation. They have complications during childbirth. They have complication even they have painful menstruations, and they don't even enjoy sex. That's it, because you know um when I saw the pictures of different aspects of it, and I was like, this is so barbaric. How can someone have this mindset? The some that they just sealed it, I just left with only the hole, the vaginal hole alone. The clitoris is cut out and it's being stitched again. And I was like, how do you expect? So now you can imagine during childbirth, everything will be open, it will be light, but it has to be sealed. And sometimes during childbirth, these people have to, the nurses have to like cut that place again. So they're reminding them that that place was not meant to be like that. So it's very difficult for them. The pains, the excessive bleeding, not enjoying sex, painful menstruation, childbirth, and and a lot of something.
Well, it's I'd love you to talk to us again on a particular area, because as a development worker, you are always there at the field. Give us your experience. I'm sure you've gone around Cross River State to see some of the localities that are still practicing this. Give us your experience on all of this, because some girls even find it as a thing of pride to be circumcised.
Yeah, that was before. That was before, all these communities. There's this traditional event festival that had been done, and for you to belong to that peer group, so you have to be circumcised. So if you're not circumcised, you can't be in that peer group. Now, because they didn't know the effect of that, so every family, every mother, every father wants my child to belong to that peer group. So as such, it has to be done. So in most of those communities, we have even it was even done in Calabar also, but because of the awareness, but I know Boki still does it, Etum still does it, but it's not really that that much because awareness had been gone into. Some weeks ago, there was a case that was viral of a doctor who was beating his wife because she didn't want the daughter to be circumcised. So she has the awareness, but because he still have this perception, this mindset, is a culture that has been in existence. So it can't be my child. And because the wife refused to accept to fall into what she believes, so as such, he now started molesting the woman. And because of what FGM. So has he thought during the process of doing this and the child loses blood? What happens?
Or even dying.
That's because when you lose blood, excess blood, definitely now you become weak, and it's matter of if God is not by your side, the child can die. So you are not thinking, you're only thinking about your own selfish interest. Okay, I just want people to know that my daughter or my community should know that okay, my daughter underwent this process. It's very, very whatever we are doing should be for the benefit of the child. If the child does not want this process to be done, please don't force the child.
Okay, we also want to get your field experience on this. We hope to see on one side, we see even the very enlightened also into this practice, and we see the less enlightened. Uh, in your experience so far in FGM business, which would you say? Which would you say? Which category would you say is predominantly involved in this practice? Would we say they're much enlightened people or the less enlightened people?
I think, not I think, is the less enlightened people. So that is the main reason we keep advocating. That's the main reason I'm here. Because even if they're not, that people are going to hear, people are going to send back the information. I watched this and I listened to this, what they said is very wrong and all that. So it's very very, I would say, it's the less enlightened people.
Okay,
Yes, that are
okay.
really practicing the rural communities.
Talk to us about awareness because this is the city center, Calabar. We have 18 local government areas, and people need to really get this information. Talk
Yeah.
to us about the awareness you've created up to the hard to reach terrains in Cross River State to still preach against FGM.
Okay. The thing there is, NGOs don't work. Um, we work in synergies. So I can be working here in Calabar here in town. There are other NGOs that are working in local communities. So we have our own like platform on gender because it's under gender based violence. So cases like this happens, we report. Okay, who do you know you can recommend? Which other organization focus on this can give you? Is it legal services? Is it medical services? So that's synergy referrals. We call it referral pathways. So it's been done, and if you're in the community and this is happening and you can't handle it, VAP that was passed last year, December. Thank you, and thankfully to the governor. Offender is 200,000 or 4 years imprisonment. If you conspired for that to happen or you attempted for that to happen, you pay 100,000 or nothing more and less than 2 years imprisonment. So we though Child Rights Act was not really that active, but we pray and we are hopeful that the VAP law will really be implemented. Yes, it's not just going to be a policy, it's not going to be a law that we just see in the paper, but really take action about it.
Okay, there's something I want to find out from you, Atom. Uh, this is business to some people. The FGM practice is business to some people, right? The ladies who go out to court, I'm sure they receive money.
Yeah, they do.
So that means they are making money. It's business that they're into. If the NGOs, if the government, if institutions are trying to see how they can bring an end to this, and they want these ladies who are into business to stop, what other alternative ways can they make sure that these ladies, because this is what they do for livelihood, so to say, what other ways can the government, NGOs, international partners come to, shift their attention and give them some other means of livelihood than this practice? I think that will really help pretty fast.
First, if their mindset is changed, they see it as something that is bad, definitely they'll look for something else to do, not waiting for the government. So if you're thinking of someone's life is at stake of what you are doing, and okay, let's assume you didn't know before, it wasn't something you knew about, and now awareness has been created, I now need to shift. So you need to sit down and think of, okay, what else can I do? Okay, and these people that have come in to advocate for me, okay, I know apart from this, I have skill set in this, because you won't tell me this is the only skill set you have. In as much as that's what you've been doing for a long time, along the line you might discover some things you can do. So with either the resources you've gotten before, you can invest. Now that's why I said it's your mindset. Is your mindset. But some people, because of greed, will not want to change. You'll still be adamant on that. So as such, for this kind of people, the law has to come into place for them. But for the people that have seen changes, when you're talking to me and you see change in me, definitely I might not really want to force, but because you're being remorseful and you've seen what you've done, and okay, I have a business idea, I have this, can you guide me or can you support me to? Definitely, people will come to help, government will come. We don't need to be pushed around or to be said, okay, let's just get the law to her or to him. It was ignorance, but now we see it as a bad thing, and we're coming to advocate to you. So advocating sometimes doesn't have to be we have to give you money. Yes, because if there's no money, we are thinking of the life of the people, the life of the citizens, the life of the girls, the community. So you have to think of something else to do.
Okay, let's get to look at this, ED. Now, we have the paramount rulers in the various local government areas being custodians of laws and customs of the land. And if FGM is a practice, the government has a whole lot of overriding power on the traditional rulers. Why can What would be your call to the government to see how they can partner with the paramount rulers in the various LGAs to see how they can join the fight to end FGM?
So how we call to the government, well, we write to them.
Mm.
If these cases happen, okay, we are going to this community that have been practicing, some community could be they don't want you to walk into it just like that. So we have like we write to them, they give us securities that also because our lives also is at stake. So we go to this community, okay, fine, this is we're not coming for war, we're coming for peace. So we tell you your reasons. This is what we want to do. If this person does not want to stop, there's a law backing because they also need to know this law. So the government also has is the law was brought into place by the government. So if they know the law that is involved in this and they see okay the government are willing to join are joining the NGOs to see how you can and definitely don't buy into it. And the most important thing is we creating our awareness, them knowing the effect. It's one thing for you, if you don't have information about certain things, you still be going towards, you were born to see it, your grandparents were practicing it, everybody were practicing it, you understand? Now, this assumption, this lifestyle was created by these same people. So it's not like it was, laws are created by people. So the tradition was also created by people. So what we believe, that's why we still go to the town head because they can still end this tradition. It was being started by people like them, so it can be ended. So that's why the government, if we write to the government, this is what we do. That's why we have social welfare, we have gender-based violence center, which things happen. We have women affairs on gender issues, so we report to them now. They know the channels. We need okay to back up with these NGOs. Let's go for it.
So, with all this campaign, what would be your assessment? Has it the practice drastically dropped in Cross River State?
Yes, it has dropped. We have a traditional ruler in once, because of this awareness, he such act is not happening again, and his own family member also experienced it. So he's also joining hands with us to advocate for such barbaric action. So I would say is there's improvement.
Excellent,
Yeah, there's
excellent.
improvement.
Now, I think before I let you go, I want to find out: has there been any form of punitive measures put out there to serve as deterrent to those still practicing this female genital mutilation?
Yeah, the law. So if we, that's why we said we are coming out to speak. If you hear something, say something. You don't keep quiet. So you are hearing that someone, a child, 16 child, by tomorrow by this time, will be going for FGM. You don't need to come out. Just call someone. Please, oh, this is my location. Oh. So thing is coming. I'm not part of it. Oh. And before you will say anything, they'll come for the rescue of that child. That's in it. So if you hear something and you say something, someone's life is safe.
But has someone been punished since then?
Sorry?
Has someone been punished since then?
I
Or
can't.
there's always a soft landing?
Yeah, that is always still, most of these things.
Okay, it's
you
not.
don't,
It's,
you
it's
don't
not.
need
It's
to
not.
force. You don't
Okay.
need to use force because if we use force on certain things, there are some people that force does not work with.
Okay. So strictly advocacy now.
Yes, so we are advocating about it, and you see, since we have seen changes, so we keep advocating. So we believe that advocating continuously will bring change. Right.
Atom, let's get your part in short on this celebration of zero tolerance on female genital mutilation. Let's get your final shot.
Okay, what I would say is for every survivor, if you've been you've gone through this process, what I would suggest you just speak out and don't feel less of yourself. Just build up yourself. And for every Nigerian cross Riverians, please let's put an end to this. Enough is enough. Ignorance is not an excuse. So that's what I have to say.
Atom Esso, a development worker and executive director at TK Initiative. Many thanks for your time on the show this morning. It's been a great time talking with you. I'm very sure Cross Riverians watching would adhere to this advocacy you are putting out with a few other NGOs in Cross River State on this.
Thank you.
All right. Stay with us. It's still the Good Morning Cross River Wednesday edition. We're not done yet. Stay.